How does a man get an erection? Well, an erection starts in your brain, and something you saw, felt, smelled, or heard, or thought about makes your nerves send chemical messages down to the blood vessels in your penis. The arteries relax and open up to let more blood flow in. At the same time, the veins close up. Once blood is in the penis, pressure traps it within the corpora cavernosa, and we're going to talk more about all of this in a moment as we go through these teachings, and your penis expands to hold that erection. The penile erection is a complex process in which the brain, nerves, muscles, and blood vessels play a major role. In addition, hormones and emotions are at work. So, what is this corpora cavernosa? The penis has two chambers inside of it. These chambers extend from the head of the penis to the base, deep inside the pelvis. The inside of these chambers are made of spongy tissue that have the ability to gain blood volume and grow in size. And this is what happens when you get an erection. The blood flows into the corpora cavernosa, these two chambers, and this spongy tissue fills with blood, creating the erection. When the inflow of blood stops and the veins are open, your penis becomes soft. Erections mainly involve the blood vessels, and the most common causes of ED in older men are conditions that block blood flow to the penis, but this is also in younger men. And what I'm going to teach you is how you can work with these blood vessels to open them through different breathing techniques and different dietary habits. So in order to get an erection, there are a lot of different things at play. It's not just the physical, but it's also the mental and the emotional. And we need to work with the whole being in order to be able to master this erection process, let's call it. And that's what we're going to do in this course, is look at all the different aspects that relate to this erection and what we can do to empower each aspect so that we can have this full erection anytime we want it for as long as we want it. So in order to understand how the body works, one of the first things we want to take into consideration is this thing called the autonomic nervous system. And there are three distinct aspects or parts of the autonomic nervous system. The first part is the sympathetic nervous system. And this has to do with stress and our response to stress. And then we have the parasympathetic nervous system, and this is called the rest and relaxation response. And finally, we have the enteric nervous system, and this is related to the area of our gut and how there's a major communication between the brain and the gut that impacts everything in our experience. Now, it's important to understand that this autonomic nervous system controls the smooth muscles of the internal organs and the glands. What are glands? We're going to go into that in deep detail in just a moment. So back to the sympathetic nervous system. The sympathetic nervous system is what helps us deal with stress. However, in this modern world, we live at a high level of stress very often throughout the day. And when this sympathetic nervous system is activated consistently for longer periods of time, this is what leads to burnout and all kinds of health issues. So we want to learn how to deactivate the sympathetic nervous system. And many ways to do this are related to practices from yoga, things like breathing, working with the body, and slowing ourselves down. This is one of the greatest therapies that we have in the modern world, is actually slowing down. Because we're at such a high pace, we live with this constant, we could say, stimulation, and we get addicted to this stimulation. And in some ways, it actually feels pretty good to be really high on this buzz of cortisol, which is one of the hormones that is released when the sympathetic nervous system is activated. So in order for a man to get an erection, he has to relax. When a man is stressed, it's almost impossible to get and maintain a strong erection. So this is why we want to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, this rest and relaxation aspect of the autonomic nervous system. And we can do this in many ways, and I'm going to teach you some very efficient and effective ways, of course, to be able to come out of the sympathetic and to go into this rest and relaxation state of the parasympathetic nervous system. Now, the importance of the parasympathetic nervous system cannot be overstated because it controls so many of the bodily functions. Some of its activities include digestion, the activating of the metabolism, sexual arousal, which is of course our focus here, and helping the body to relax. When the parasympathetic nervous system is activated, it slows our heartbeat, it slows our breathing rate, and it lowers our blood pressure and promotes digestion. So our body is able to enter this state of relaxation, and this relaxation is what leads us to a healthy state. So we could say that the sympathetic nervous system is involved in preparing the body for stress-related activities. The parasympathetic nervous system, on the other hand, is associated with returning the body to routine day-to-day operations. The two systems have complementary functions, and they operate in tandem to maintain the body's homeostasis. The sympathetic nervous system releases the hormones, epinephrine and norepinephrine, to accelerate the heart rate, and the parasympathetic nervous system releases the hormone acetylcholine to slow the heart rate. Now, the enteric nervous system is defined as an arrangement of neurons and supporting cells throughout the gastrointestinal tract from the esophagus to the anus. The enteric nervous system includes a number of neural circuits that control motor functions, local blood flow, mucosal transport and secretions, and modulate the immune and endocrine functions. And all of this is happening in the gut and in the intestines. This is why it's so important to pay attention to what we eat. And in fact, when we eat foods that don't help us to have this healthy gut flora, and I'm going to go deeper into this in a moment, this is what's also leading to ED directly. The enteric nervous system is often referred to as our body's second brain. It's the brain in the gut. There are literally hundreds of millions of neurons connecting the brain to the enteric nervous system in the gut, and it's part of the nervous system that's tasked with controlling everything in this gastrointestinal system, everything with digestion and elimination through the gut and the intestines. So it's important, again, to come back to this understanding of how these things work, and I want to take you through step by step what we can do to balance this nervous system, to have this optimal health and optimal functioning, not just of the erection, but of your entire being.